Hello. Wow, this lighting is terrible. It's late at night. I don't generally do it late at night. That maybe helps a little bit. Maybe. Yeah, that works. So it's late. My normal pattern in doing these videos is that I'll get up in the morning and I'll read something in my news feed, or my wife will catch something and we'll share it. We'll talk about it, and then I'll come on here and I'll do sort of a reaction, I guess. I'm reacting to things all the time, and I'm tired. Sometimes it just sneaks up on me. Sometimes it just hits me like a wave that, you know, this is it. The road before us. I mean, it's just there. It's just the road. That's the road we got to go down. The planet's going to get hotter, and there's going to be more CO2 emissions and more fossil fuel consumption, and people are just going to be in denial, and then they're going to be angry, and they're going to be accusatory, and scientists are frightened, and we're going to be subject to witch hunts and murders and assassinations, and they're going to kill the messenger, right? They're going to kill the messenger. These people, they're going to kill the messenger. So of course, we're not ready. We can't. It's like we can't do this. We can't do this. Um, my wife and I were eating dinner last night, and we ran across. We like to watch a little bit of TV, uh, YouTube actually. We use YouTube as our TV channel, and we like to watch some TV. And so, Noam Chomsky was being highlighted as a presenter on some video. I thought, okay, fine. Let's pick up some Noam Chomsky and see what he's doing. Noam Chomsky he's really old. He's an intellectual linguist. He had a lot to say at one time about the link between linguistics, meaning language, and human intelligence. Like, you can't be intelligent unless you have language, rather rather than the other way around. That intelligence is informed by language. That language drives intelligence, not the other way around. And some other interesting things. Which, by the way, uh, quick tangent. That's kind of what's happening with artificial intelligence right now, and it's not too surprising that they did this. They came up with this thing they're calling large language models, where an internet bot goes out and crawls all the text on the internet, and from that text, it infers how humans think, not about certain topics, but just in general, how humans think in general. And you know, it's like an alien race watched all our TV, listened to all of our radio out in space. Radio waves travel out into space. So they watched all our TV, and they listened to all of our radio, and they watched all of our live broadcasts, and they watched everything we did that we shared on TV or radio. And from that, they inferred how people think and what they think about and what's important to them. And you might say, wow, that's too bad because our TV is pretty shitty and our news is really limited and blah blah. But if that's all they had, they would have to look at our TV and look at our radio signals and say, from that, interpret something about us. So the large language models are based on linguistics, and intelligence is derived from language. And so if you put a bot out on the internet and it studies everything that humans have ever said on the internet, in text, then you can construe something about human intelligence. So it's not too surprising that Noam Chomsky is a leading intellectual. That's fine. He talks a lot about the human condition. And as he's gotten older and he's become more philosophical, he talks a lot about politics and the challenges of guiding ourselves through difficult transitions. And so the host introduced him and said, Noam Chomsky, everyone knows Professor Chomsky, and he's a great thinker and intellectual and a leader, thought leader. And he's going to talk about multipolar politics and multipolar world, and and all the rise of conflicts between nations and whatnot. And so they brought him on, and he says, "Yeah, yeah, sure, we can talk about that, but we have two topics that we need to address first, and one of them is that have some say in how far we can go with these topics like politics and economics. One of them is nuclear weapons, the threat of nuclear weapons, and the other is the threats posed by global climate change. And unless we solve these problems, but not his exact words, it's like unless we address these issues or something kind of weak like that, there won't be a civilization to discuss in a few years. We'll be done." And then he said, but for the current discussion, let's assume someone solves those problems, the problems with nuclear weapons and the problems with global climate change. And then, and then they've spent the rest of the time talking about politics and economics and abstractions like that. And I thought that was really discouraging. I just found that really, really, uh, it just made me really sad. And my wife and I discussed it a lot. She kept coming back to me and saying, "Listen to what he said. Listen to what he said." I said, "Yeah, I understand what he said." He said that, we're going to be wiped out by some combination of nuclear weapons and climate change in the next few years. And so it kind of makes these other discussions about politics and power politics and four-dimensional chess and all this kind of stuff meaningless, because in a couple of years it's all going to be turned on its head. And then he went ahead and talked about it anyway. She was like, she couldn't believe it. I guess she just couldn't believe it. It's like he said that we've got a few years to figure out these other things, or all this other stuff is irrelevant. And then he went and talked about the other stuff anyway. It's like missed an opportunity. How many more years does he have left? Uh, how many more months does he have left to live? And he identified that there are two topics that are of critical importance to us even having a future. We have to address these topics immediately and make radical changes in how we do things, or we're not going to have a future. And then just to ignore that, say that, and then just ignore it. Just go on and talk about what he wants to talk about. I guess what he's paid to talk about, right? They probably paid him to be a presenter on this program, and so yeah, he had to stick to the script. He said those two things, and then he said it all aside, pushed it under the rug, and spent the rest of the time talking about politics. And it gets me down. It just gets me down. What can I say? I get so tired of it. People who could help us, as he almost did. And he could have just said, "I can't talk about politics today. Just shut up about politics, please. What's wrong with you? We got we got serious existential problems here. In a couple of years, political parties, politics in general is just going to be irrelevant. We can't talk about politics anymore." He basically said that. And then he went ahead and talked about politics. It's like, what a missed opportunity, right? Right? Isn't that what that is? It's a missed opportunity. He had it all laid out. He was ready to go. Noam Chomsky, linguist, you know, leading thinker, said the thing and then just swept it under the rug. I get tired. I get tired of it. A long day like this and things like that, and I just get tired. The Kubler-Ross thingamajig, right? The 5 stages of grief. Everyone knows what it is, basically. See if I can remember it. 5 stages you go through when you get bad news, right? And first you deny, then you get angry, then you start bargaining, like, well, okay, it's true, but this could happen and that could other thing, and then you become depressed because the bargaining didn't work, and then you become depressed, and then you accept. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. That's the 5 stages of grief. And it applies to individuals, obviously, a cancer diagnosis, Alzheimer's in a loved one, a parent or something, and you go through all the things. We can fix this. We can, and climate change. We've been through denial. We've been through anger, and now I think we're at the bargaining stage. And when Noam Chomsky comes on and says, "Well, we have to solve these problems. It's just we can't talk about politics, and we have to address these issues. They're going to destroy us completely." And all this tongue wagging about politics and justice and equity and fascism and alt right and alt left and immigration and equity and fairness, and it's just going to be meaningless because we're going to be gone. We're going to be done. You know, what are people going to be talking about after physics is done with us? After the global nuclear event, after the global nuclear exchange, after global heating cooks us and destroys us and kills our crops and kills our animals and kills us and drives us into to live underground, and to come above ground, we have to have spacesuits. And, what are we going to be talking about at that point? Are we going to be talking about equity, fairness, politics, fascism? What? Really? You think so? You think any of that shit's gonna matter anymore? It doesn't matter to me. I see the road ahead. I see it. Noam Chomsky can see it too. Existential crisis. We got a few years to figure this shit out, or nothing. And nothing that we think is immortal and forever is going to endure. A few years, and we're done. That's what he said. And I'm like, did he say that? Wait, did he just sweep that under the rug? Yes, he said that, and then he completely ignored himself. And went on to spend the rest of the time talking about physics. I mean, we didn't even watch the rest of the video. We're like, what just happened here? This is Noam Chomsky. He just did that. And we couldn't talk about anything else. Look what just happened. He just did that. Bargaining. He said, these are the existential crises we face. In a few years, politics won't matter. But for now, for the sake of this discussion, let's just assume that someone fixes those for us. And now let's spend the rest of the hour talking about politics. That's bargaining. That's not even denial. That's like saying, yes, problems, real problems. That's not even anger. That's like, we're beyond anger now. It's like, this is pissing me off. It must be the Chinese. It must be a hoax. Okay. Now it's like, well, someone's going to solve it. And so now let's go on and talk about politics and economics and multipolar, power struggles. And, because in a few years, that's not going to matter at all. That's what he said. He's sweeping it under the rug. People were talking today about this big interview, or whatever you want to call it, between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And I didn't watch it. I wouldn't even. No. I refuse to hear the sound of Donald Trump's voice. I just can't stand his voice. I can't stand to hear him speak. It's just like screeching in my ear. And some people will say that's Trump derangement syndrome. No, it isn't. He's just so toxic and so evil that I just can't. It's like listening to Adolf Hitler. Okay, I just can't. I can't listen to Adolf Hitler. I don't even speak German. I just can't listen to the guy. I don't want to hear him. I fast forward through that part of the video, that part of the documentary. I just can't listen to the guy. And Elon Musk is a man-child. He has 11 kids. Did you know that? 11 kids. You never hear about him. You never hear about his wife or how many wives he's had. You never hear that he's marrying. You never hear that he's got divorced. And yet somehow there's a bunch of women in his past, present, or future, and he has 11 kids. He's a man-child. And he's always fucking up. His lawyers are always cleaning up after him. It's like he's always crapping in the bed. And all his lawyers come out and say he didn't mean it that way, and he didn't say that. We're going to sue you, And yet he had an interview with Donald Trump, the two most notoriously useless speakers in the world right now. Two people who should not be platformed for any purpose whatsoever, that no one should be listening to. They're good only for entertainment purposes, and that's pretty twisted entertainment. I mean, there are some pretty twisted comedians out there, and Donald Trump and Elon Musk are right up there with the twisted bunch of people who you turn to for entertainment. Misogynists and racists, people that tell racist jokes and demean women and demean cripples. And, I wouldn't listen to those people. Some people find them funny. And so I guess there's an entertainment value in listening to Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And I guess the entertainment value goes up considerably when they're on the same stage talking about the same subject, right? Wow, that's peak entertainment right there. I'm not going to listen to it, and I didn't. But people were talking about Donald Trump and Elon Musk all day today. And as regards, I mean, there was a lot of water went under the bridge with these two guys. But one of the topics was climate change, and they're calling it the worst discussion about global heating and global climate change ever, ever. And there's been some absolute bullshit been strung together about global heating and climate change by the fossil fuel industries and the alt-right and the Republicans and the Heartland Institute and a bunch of other dipweeds, and yet this apparently took the cake. Donald Trump and Elon Musk talking about climate change was apparently a ride. Okay, that was a ride, and tidbits I got out of it was that Donald Trump said that sea level rise is a good thing because it creates new oceanfront property. And Elon Musk says, it doesn't really matter. I mean, the worst thing that happens at 1,000 parts per million, we're currently at 425. The worst thing that happens at 1,000 parts per million is you start to get headaches because there's so much CO2 in the atmosphere. Too much CO2 in the atmosphere will give you a headache. And that was it. That was his contribution. Elon Musk, the great climate scientist, not a scientist of any kind, by the way, just an engineer, an entrepreneur, a money man, right? 11 kids, how many wives, how many girlfriends, and maybe no wives, maybe he's never been married. And but now he's holding forth on climate change. And the worst thing that's going to happen with all these CO2 emissions is people will start getting headaches at 1,000 parts per million. What the actual fuck was that about? And Donald Trump is ready, I guess, to sell all of his Florida real estate to somebody, some greater fool, and buy new oceanfront property in what? Georgia? Tennessee? I mean, is he out? Is he surveying, the country to find out where the next oceanfront property is going to be? What's he talking about? Because that's what he said, is that the advantage of sea level rise is it creates new oceanfront property. I think he even said it creates more, as if the stuff that is currently oceanfront property is still there, and we have new oceanfront property in this other direction because of sea level rise. And so it's more, it's additive, you see. And I guess these guys expect us to take them seriously. They take themselves seriously. They do. They do. The con man Trump and the idiot savant Elon Musk, and they're both rich and they just say whatever they want to say. And I guess because they're rich, people are what? Hanging on every word, every syllable. And Donald Trump is right. I got to go buy oceanfront property in Georgia before Florida goes underwater. What are people taking away from these conversations? Well, what these guys are doing is they're bargaining. They're basically saying, okay, we can no longer say that global heating and global climate change are a hoax, and we can't be angry about it, and we can't stop it. And here it comes. But let's make money. Let's just make money from it. Wow, how can we make money from this? I could go buy up, options on land in Georgia where I think the new coastline is going to be. And then when the ice melts and Florida is under 200 feet of water, then if I calculated correctly, I'll own all this farmland that is now valuable oceanside property. Is that their actual thinking? Because that's what the interview came out sounding like. So the gears are turning. The entrepreneurs are going to make money, and there's got to be an angle here. There's got to be some way I can turn this into a profit, right? That's it. That's the state of the art now. That's the state of the art. The state of Florida is going to be underwater. That's a thing. Oh, but there's going to be new oceanfront property. And today, that property is not oceanfront property. Today, that's just, you know, fallow farmland. You can buy it on the cheap. So you buy it now, and then 50 years from now, maybe 40, maybe even 30 years from now, it becomes oceanfront property. So it's like, okay, all right, let's do this. And it's just, and maybe they do it because they know I'm listening, and they know that they're trolling me, and they're thinking, okay, there's these people out there who are going to hear what we're going to say, and their heads are going to explode. So let's just troll the fuck out of them. And that popping sound you hear as we're talking during our live interview, that popping sound you hear, that's all the scientists' heads exploding. Could be that's what they're doing. Could be. I doubt it. I think they believe it. They believe it. So what's the takeaway? We're sweeping this under the rug just as fast as we can. They, all of us really are sweeping it under the rug. Global heating is real. We are hitting record temperatures every day, every month, every year from now on. It does nothing but get worse. It can never get better. Never. I mean, like never, like hundreds of thousands of years, never, which is not never. But let's say, humans have been on this earth for 200,000 years. So the next 200,000 years, the earth becomes uninhabitable for humans. So as far as we're concerned, never. So far as our branch of the tree of life is concerned, never. It never gets better. It can't. There's no mechanism for it to get better. Weathering of mountains. That's how you get rid of all the CO2 in the atmosphere. You weather the mountains. Have you even watched a mountain weather? You know what weathering is? It's billions of years to weather mountains, okay? To grind them down with rain. To grind mountains down with rain will eventually sequester some of the CO2 in the atmosphere. Grinding mountains down. That's how it happens. It's hundreds of millions of years. Well, we could plant trees. And you're cutting down trees right now. And when that ground is underwater, it's not going to be suitable for trees. And the oceans are going to die from the heat and from the CO2 and the acidification. And the oceans will start outgassing hydrogen sulfide gas, which is toxic. And everything in the oceans will die, and all the carbon will rot, and it'll all enter into the atmosphere as methane. And, it's just not going to work the way you think it does. You're not going to plant any trees. You're going to cut all the trees down. The trees are all on fire right now. And you're going to have to cut the trees down to make more agricultural land, because the ag land you have now is going to become uninhabitable. And the plants are going to die. All the C3 plants, it's going to get too hot for them. I think there's like one type of C4 plant that humans regularly eat. And the rest of our diet is C3 plants, and they're all extremely sensitive to temperature. They just won't grow. Put all the water and all the fertilizer you want on them. It's just too hot. Unless you grow them under air conditioning, it's too hot. They won't grow. Where's your food now? You got no food. So you have to go someplace where it's cooler. And that's probably the North Pole. Except the North Pole is an ocean. Most people don't even know that. The North Pole is an ocean. So all you can do is go to the edge of the land that surrounds the North Polar Sea. And how much land is that? And where is that land? It's in Russia. It's in Greenland, which is Denmark, and it's in Canada. And the U.S. has one little bit called Alaska. That's it. All of humanity is going to have to end up in these places that people don't even know anything about, can't even find on a map. Where is Siberia? I heard of it. Can't find it on a map. Most people couldn't tell you what the north of Canada looks like inside the Arctic Circle. They couldn't even tell you what it's like up there. Well, that's where you're going to end up because the rest of it's going to be too hot to inhabit because of global heating. And, you can say, well, think of all the economic opportunities with rising sea level and think about, all the new real estate we're going to have. I mean, my goodness, Canada right now, that boreal forest up there isn't worth a penny an acre. But if that's where all of humanity is going to have to go to survive, well, then all of a sudden it's worth $1 million an acre, right? And so this is a money-making opportunity. This isn't a problem. This is a this is we can innovate the fuck out of this, right? We'll just go up there and buy that forest and wait for those trees to burn, and then we'll sell that land for $1 million an acre to all the rich people that are streaming north trying to get out of the heat. This is all money making, man. Canada, those people are going to get rich. Those Russians, they're sitting on a gold mine. All that land in Siberia that no one lives on. It's all frozen. It's completely frozen all the time. Well, it won't be in 20 years. It'll all be completely thawed. And then you just move up there and you start building your freeways and you start building your suburbs and your Home Depots and your Costco's and people move in and they've all got money or they wouldn't be able to do this. And, $1 million an acre, $10 million an acre, $20 million an acre, $20 million an acre. Everybody puts their McMansion on a quarter of an acre, right? And they spend $10 million for a quarter of an acre in the boreal forest of Canada. Right now, it's just forest, but it's all on fire too. So, hey, wait 5 years and you'll find some part that burned and just go up there and cut the stumps out and dig the stumps out of the ground and start selling it. $50 million an acre. People got to escape. They got to get out. They got to leave North Africa. They got to leave Europe. They got to leave the lower 48 continental United States. They got to leave. Got to get out. Where are they going to go? They're going to go north. They're going to go to the North Pole. Oh, except the North Pole is all water, so you can't go that far. So where you have to go to Canada. You have to go to northern Russia, Siberia, right? Alaska. All the ice is going to melt. Everything's going to thaw. Real estate opportunities galore. Let's get in early, right? Let's create financial vehicles to get in there early and divide up that land and steal it from the Native Americans or the Native Canadians or the Native, Arctic peoples. Just steal it from them, kill them, take their land, sell it for $50 million an acre because there's going to be all these rich people who are fleeing Saudi Arabia, right? Europe, Spain, Italy. Money. $100 million an acre. $100 million. You got money? Show me your money. Because we're selling these, burned out forests in northern Canada for $100 million an acre. And you're a billionaire and you want to survive, right? You want to, yeah. So real estate opportunity here. Come on. Global heating, bring it. And when you're listening to Donald Trump, that's what you get out of him. Oh, yeah. Real estate opportunities galore in this, man. And you're listening to Elon Musk, he's like, oh, yeah, there's not going to be a problem at all. Maybe some people get headaches at 1,000 parts per million, but hey, we'll sell bottled air for these people, where the CO2 has been scrubbed out and it's air. We could even put names on it, right? This is air from 1850s, Italy. It's got all the right smells of sausages and oil paintings and the streets of Venice and the CO2 has been removed and the oxygen has been boosted. And this is oxygen from Venice. You can just really enjoy some Venetian oxygen, some Venetian air. And we sell that's it for $100 a canister. It's good for, I don't know, half an hour. You want air that you can breathe that it's been cleaned up and got some nice odors of food and whatnot in it, and you just, yeah, that's the good stuff, right? They'll sell you air to breathe because the air that's ambient around you has too much CO2 in it. It'll give you a headache. So they're going to sell you air. They're gonna sell you air. They're gonna sell you air. It's a business opportunity. It's not a crisis. It's a business opportunity. It's business. After bargaining comes depression. When you realize that all of your plans, all of your notions about how you could turn this to your advantage, about how you could pull this out of the dive, about how something's going to happen and the Titanic isn't going to sink, right? After you've done all the bargaining and you've prayed to the gods of commerce and consumerism, and you've celebrated the entrepreneurs, and you've laughed at Elon Musk's jokes, and you voted for Donald Trump, and after all you did all that and none of it worked, right? Then you come away like, well, okay, I thought I understood. I thought I we could figure this out, but we can't. So that's terrible. What am I supposed to do? I just wasted all my time laughing at Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and and waiting for someone to pump the water out of the Titanic so it doesn't sink, and none of that happened. So yeah, it becomes really sad. And we're going to go through, as a species, we're going to go through a period of just deep, abiding, soul crushing regret. Regret. I can tell you right now, scientists, climate scientists in particular, are already feeling it. Just this feeling that, oh my God, here it comes. Oh my God. I mean, I thought we were smart enough. We're Homo sapiens. And we even called ourselves the wise ones. And here it comes. Here it comes. Oh my God, I can see it. It's coming. It's like a freight train. It's like that light at the end of the tunnel. That's the freight train. That's not freedom and the future. And there is no future. It's just bad. And we're going to laugh at Elon Musk, and we're going to laugh at Donald Trump, and we're going to pretend that it doesn't matter, and we're going to pretend that someone's going to figure it out, or we'll all go to Mars, or some ridiculous 12-year-old twaddle. And then it's going to hit us. No, 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 no. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing you can do. There's nowhere to go, and there's no way to get there. And maybe some people will figure it out. Probably the ultra wealthy. They'll buy their northern Canadian boreal forest acreage at $100 million an acre, and they'll rebuild their villa, and they'll rebuild their McMansion, and they'll have farming set up, and they'll have robots and AI and slaves and everything else they need to manage their hundreds of acres that they bought for billions of dollars. And they'll be okay, and their people who are living with them will be okay. Their servants, and their hairdressers and whatever else, and they build their little city up on their 100 acres in the boreal forest of Canada, and they just shut off the rest of the world, and don't want to hear about it, and they're the ones that survive, and they get to be the ones that start the whole shit show over again. I guess. I mean, I expect those people to survive. I expect they can figure it out. I can't. I can't figure it out. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. She's a coming. I'm writing this story. I haven't done much with it recently because I've been so busy with other things, about the return of a goddess, that she was captured by the Christians. She's an earth goddess, and she was captured by the Christians, who just wanted to get the goddesses out of the way because they had other plans, and they succeeded. And then, without the earth goddesses to counsel people and make them do the right thing, they just did whatever they wanted to do. And then in the book, she gets out, she gets away, she frees herself. And as I'm calculating the story, and for me, it is a calculation. It's like math. Okay, I'm an engineer. What do you expect? So as I'm calculating the story and weaving through it, I have to wonder what her attitude is. That she was abducted and cut to pieces and stored in separate boxes and kept out of circulation for 1400 years. And then she reassembles herself, escapes from captivity, and now she's in the world that humans created in her absence. And this is the world they wanted. And that's why they removed her and her influence so they could do what they wanted to do over here. And so when I get in her head, what is she thinking about that? I mean, she's the earth goddess. She's loving, right? She loves baby animals and flowers, and she's all about fertility and reproduction and happiness and growth, and, and fertility and the soil and the trees and the pollinators and the pregnant females and the births and the babies and the cubs and the kittens and the everything else. And you kind of know that there's a part of her that's like really loving and patient and tolerant, as mothers are, right? Or maybe she's not. Would she be? What would the goddess think about all this? If she came out of her box in the bottom of the Vatican, they let her out, and she came out of her iron box whole, and she saw what we did in her absence. Would she be forgiving? Would she go through the 5 stages of grief on seeing the world? Would she be in denial? Would she be angry? Would she bargain? Would she become depressed? Would she accept it? Or would she just would she just go straight to like losing her fucking mind? So I'm writing this story for this goddess. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. It's like, how do I feel about it? I watched Donald Trump and Elon Musk. I didn't watch him, but I heard about it. I hear about Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and I watched Noam Chomsky, the great intellectual, sweeping all of this under the rug. And Donald Trump and Elon Musk and all the business opportunities that come with sea level rise and destroying civilization, right? There's business opportunities. We can make money. We can sell air. We can sell new real estate. There's going to be new shorelines, new beachfront properties. And yeah, money. Yeah, got a big, thick hard on for money. And it's like, so the goddess emerges, the earth goddess emerges, releases herself into this world with these men and these people and these conversations. And does she go through the 5 stages of grief? Or does she just launch straight right into vengeance? What's the old saying from back in the hippie days? God is coming and man is she pissed. I like to think of that once in a while. Now, of course, in real life, there is no goddess, and she's not coming, and she's not going to be pissed, and she's not going to make us do the right thing, and she's not going to punish us, and she's not going to drive us through the gates of hell like sheep. There is no goddess. She's not going to do any of those things. Physics may do all those things. Yes, physics could do those things, and physics won't have any thoughts for us while it's doing those things. While it's tearing us down and driving us into perdition and driving us into hell and no way out, and you're going to burn, and it's going to be real fire and real flames, and you're really going to burn, and your fat is actually going to run out of your body onto the ground and burn because you're on fucking fire. Okay, when physics does that to us, Yeah, you're gonna wish there was a goddess. You're gonna wish there was someone who maybe in extremity takes pity on you, takes pity on us. It says, okay, okay, this is really bad. I know I'm angry. I'm really pissed. You cut me up. You threw me in a bunch of iron boxes. You hid me under the Vatican, and then you decided to let me out because you felt bad about what was happening in the world, and you're hoping I'm going to fix it for you. And I'm just pissed. Okay, and I'm like, you bunch of retarded chimps. Look what you've done. You did this to me, and now you did this to the world, and you expect me to fix this shit for you? No, I'm not going to do that. That could be her, right? Yeah, no, I'm not going to. And physics isn't going to fix it for us. And you're not going to innovate, and you're not going to, you know, create new laws, and you're not going to create new policies, and nothing is going to matter because you didn't stop burning fossil fuels. You just refused. And now we're seeing the bright side of all this global heating and all this ice melt. There'll be new real estate opportunities in Georgia with oceanfront property as the sea level rises and Florida goes underwater. There'll be new real estate options. We can start all over again with brand new coastal real estate in Georgia, and in Tennessee, coastal real estate in Tennessee and all around the world. Coastal real estate in the center of Germany, in the highlands of Germany. There'll be coastal real estate. You can start all over again, make new ports, make new oil refineries, and make new resorts. Disneyland could make new Disneylands everywhere. The old ones are underwater, but that's just an opportunity. Disneyland going underwater in Florida means now you have to move Disneyland to Georgia, where it's oceanfront property, right? And there's land up in northern Canada and northern Russia that's now worth, what, $1 billion an acre for rich people who just want to get the fuck out of wherever they are and get away from all these people that are on fire all the time, literal flames on their bodies and their fat running out onto the ground and burning like a fuel. They want to get away from all that. They're going to go to Canada and they're going to spend $200 million an acre to find land to start over again. And that's a good thing. That's an opportunity. That's a business opportunity. I guess that's a business opportunity. That's what it is. Global heating is fine because it's a business opportunity. And so what am I supposed to say? And I've got this goddess right here. She's sitting right here, and I'm writing a book for her. And I turn to her and I say, "What do you think? What what do you want to do with these people? What do you think I should tell these people? What is she supposed to tell me to tell you?" I'm writing the book, and in the book, she's going to do it. I'm not exactly sure what she's going to do, but I'm a savage. That's right. And because I get to write her, maybe she's a savage too. And maybe all your boyish 12-year-old prepubescent hijinks about how global heating and global climate change is really just a business opportunity. Maybe that doesn't cut it with her. Doesn't cut it with me. Makes me want to walk away. Makes me want to turn my back on you people and walk away. Not that I can do anything for you. Physics has you now. Physics has got you. The Earth dynamic system has got you. It's got you. You are in the jaws. You are in the jaws of this beast, and it's got you. It's got you. Just like that. You're in the jaws. It's got you. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I don't even know what to say. If we were on the Titanic, I say get to a lifeboat. What's the equivalent when civilization is going to go down? And we have people like Donald Trump and Elon Musk talking about the business opportunities of the entire fucking civilization sinking beneath the waves of history. It's like, I can make money, I can innovate, I can finesse this, I can work this, I can get in early. create the market dynamics, get the investors, get the money. We get in there, we buy that land cheap or pennies on the acre, and they were going to sell it for $500 million an acre to the Saudis. Yeah, there's an opportunity here. We're going to work this, bitch. We're going to work this. Okay, it's a crisis to you. I see it as work. We're going to work this thing. All right. There's money to be made. There's crap farmland in Georgia that's going to become oceanfront property. And I'm going to sell that shit to Disney Incorporated. And we're going to work this thing. You see how we're going to do this? This is an opportunity. You see, get a piece of paper and a pencil. Let me draw this out for you. Okay. This is an opportunity. We're going to work this, bitch. We're going to work this disaster, and the entire civilization is going to go up in flames, and people are going to catch literal fire and burn in their own body fat. Okay. They're going to fucking burn. They're going to catch on fire and burn, but that's okay because we're going to make money. And when all these people are running around with their literal hair on literal fire from global heating, okay, then we're going to sell them fire extinguishers for their hair. That's how we're going to do this. There's money in this. We're going to make fucking money. And then we're going to get elected. And we're going to tell people, we're going to work this climate change thing here. Okay. We're going to work this. We're going to work it. All right. And there's money in here, and there's freedom, and there's growth, and there's opportunity for people with an entrepreneurial spirit. And we're going to find the people who are ready to make money on this crisis. And let me tell you, I got a piece of paper and a pencil. I'm going to outline this whole goddamn thing. Me and Donald Trump and me and Elon Musk, we're going to figure this shit out right here, right now. We're going to figure it out right now. And then we're going to work it. Okay. We're going to go to Canada, and we're going to buy that worthless land, that boreal forest that's already on fire, for a penny an acre. And then we're going to burn it. Okay, we're going to burn it. We're going to clear it, burn it, and then we're going to put freeways into that place and airport runways, right? We're going to burn it, and then we're going to clear it. We're going to run in the goddamn bulldozers, hundreds of thousands of bulldozers, fly them in on huge helicopters, whatever it takes. And we're going to clear that land, and we're going to put in deluxe housing, and we're going to sell it to the fucking Saudis and the Iranians and the Kuwaitis, right? For $100 million an acre. $100 million an acre. And it's above the Arctic Circle. And you can survive up there. And we'll have to have agriculture, and we'll have to have all kinds of light industry, and we're going to have water and sewer treatment and all that stuff. And it's going to cost a lot of money. But you know what? We can do this. It's just money, okay? And the Saudis have money, and they'll bankroll this. I know they will. I know they'll bankroll this. They're trying to get out of their fucking sandbox, okay? It's all on fire. It's all on fucking fire. Everyone's on fire down there, okay? And so this is an easy sell. This is going to be so easy. Let me tell you, man, this is going to be so easy. We just need money and bulldozers, and we need to set the forest on fire. And it just, the business plan writes itself. How'd I do? Are you in? You got your money? Can you write me a check right now? Let's work this. That's the Trumps and the Musks of the world, and the Teals and the Bushes and the Bin Salmons, and they're going to work it. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. And I'm writing a story where the goddess comes back, and she's like, "Okay, that sucked. It's been 1400 years that I've been locked up in an iron box in the basement of the Vatican. All right, but I'm back now. What have you done with my world? All right? Is she going to be buying that real estate in northern Canada? Helping out with that? Is she going to invest in that? I don't think so. I think she's just going to, well, spoilers, right? Maybe it's a comedy. Maybe the whole book is a comedy. I think there's an element of that. I think there's an element of this story that's actually a farce. A farce. Some of the characters are already like Donald Trump, and some of the characters in the book are already like Elon Musk. And I felt kind of bad about that because, like, but these are cartoonish people. But now that Trump has actually been interviewed by Elon Musk, I'm like, okay, that's it. So this is real. They're not cartoon characters. They're real. These are real people doing real things. So I guess they're in the book now, or something like them, right? The soulless politician and the man child idiot savant inventor investor, right? They're in there somewhere. And then the goddess shows up. Like, people, sit down. Let me explain how this shit works. Now, we don't need a goddess because we have physics. And physics can sit you down. Physics can sit your monkey ass down and say, okay, this is how the world works. We got gravity. We've got combustion. We've got an earth dynamic system. We have chaos, chaotic elements. We have biological diversity. We have habitat. That's how this works. It doesn't, all this other stuff you've come up with is outside the laws of physics. It's just shit you people have made up. You're just a bunch of chimps and you just made up fictitious bananas, banana futures and banana trading and banana options. And you know, physics was always here. So sit your monkey ass down. Put your banana down. Listen to me. I'm physics. I'm here to explain some shit to you. Someone needs to take Donald Trump, sit his fat ass down, and explain some physics to that moron. And someone needs to take Elon Musk and drag him out of his grotesque nightmare of innovation and sit his fat ass down and explain to him about physics. Okay? Here's some physics for you. Now sit there, shut up, and listen to me while I tell you how the world actually works. All right? Now, I just got done reading the Riot Act to Donald the moron Trump. Now you go back and you two talk again. And you talk about how you're going to deal with fucking physics. Won't you please? You're the leaders of the free world. Why don't you work on that? Why don't you just address what's going to happen when actual people are on actual fucking fire? Okay? And their body fat is burning because it's fuel. Okay? Let's look at that and decide what we're going to do about that. That's your next interview. You two figure that out based on the laws of physics. See, that's what we need. We need that level of discussion. And we're not getting it. And I guess we're not going to. So I get to write the book where the goddess come out. And she basically says, all right, let me explain to you people how the world actually works. Sit your ass down and listen to what I have to say. I am the goddess of the planet Earth, one of three. And I'm going to sit you down and you're going to listen to me. I know I've been out of touch for 1400 years, but guess what? Nothing has changed of any importance in 1400 years. Everything is exactly the way it was when I left it. And now I'm back. And you've been playing around. You've been farting around like a bunch of chimps, thinking you knew what was going on, and you didn't. And you fucked up, okay? You have fucked it up. You've screwed the pooch. And now I'm going to sit you down here. I'm going to explain to you your situation. And here's what we're going to do. You ready? You ready to go? Jump. Here's what you got to do. And there's no two ways about it. And that's what I want to hear. I want to hear that. I want Noam Chomsky to come on the next time that someone wants to interview him about multipolar politics. I want him to say, okay, that's fine. And in the past, I would have talked about that for hours and hours and hours. And now we're not going to talk about that. Sit your ass down and let me explain some shit to you about how the world actually works. And politics ain't got anything to do with it. No. I'm Noam Chomsky. Sit your ass down. I'm going to educate you on something. And then he spends the rest of his life talking about just that. I'd like to see that. I like to see Elon Musk interview Donald Trump, and when Donald Trump says, "Yeah, we're going to be creating new oceanfront property," I want Elon Musk to say, "Yeah, but you see, that doesn't comport with the laws of physics, because about the time that you create all this new oceanfront property, actual people are going to be on actual fire, okay? And you're not going to have time to move Disneyland from Orlando to someplace in Georgia and start over again because you're going to be on fucking fire. Even Georgia's going to be on fucking fire, and that's it doesn't work the way you think it does. By the time you have new coastal real estate in Georgia, the rest of the planet is finished. Humanity is on fire. They've been on fire for a decade. They've been on fire for 100 years. And you're not going to be doing any of these things. And the least of your problems is going to be headaches because the CO2 levels are so high. That's the least of your problems, okay? That won't even be a problem. No one will be talking about that. I have a headache today. CO2 levels are so high today. No one's going to have that conversation. Because physics has a lot to say about what's important. So right now we're bargaining. When we get to acceptance, when we get to the point of acceptance, at the end of the 5 steps of grief, I guess we'll have this discussion about how we're fucked and how physics has ruined us and how we ruined ourselves through creative uses of the laws of physics and releasing CO2 into the atmosphere and enhancing the greenhouse effect and causing heat accumulation in the atmosphere, which cascaded into additional heat in every other part of the Earth dynamic system, including melting all the ice and blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's a 30-second discussion, people, about what we've done. 30 seconds. And you don't need an IPCC report to summarize it. 30 seconds. 4 or 5 sentences. That's it. But you have to be at acceptance. You have to be ready to accept that. And we're not ready. According to Noam Chomsky, we've got like maybe 2-3 years to get to the point of acceptance where we can actually have adult conversations about what the fuck we're going to fucking do. Because we're not there yet. We've got Donald Trump and Elon Musk playing grab ass 12-year-olds, trolling us all about the state of the planet. That's what we're doing. We have a long way to go, folks, and very little time left in which to make that journey. Scant years, 2, 3 years to make that journey. And that means we're going to have to drag all the Donald Trumps in the world with us. All those self-important, egotistical, narcissistic assholes. We got to drag them out of their fortresses and drag them with us to the point over here in the future of acceptance so we can have this discussion about what the fuck we're going to do about the laws of physics. Two years. Well, I feel better now. I've said before, this is my therapy. So yes, I feel better now. I was feeling kind of down and angry and depressed, and I had lost all faith in humanity. And I still have no faith in humanity, but I'm feeling better actually about all that. So thank you for helping me. Thank you for being there. Thank you for listening to me. And, sometimes the best approach is just to get angry, right? Just to be mad, just to accept that people are chimps, just to accept that they're stupid and retarded and selfish and greedy. Just accept that and say, okay, there you go. That's the landscape. I'm pissed, but now I feel better because I've recognized something about my situation. And you should too. And if it makes you angry, be angry. And if it makes you depressed, get depressed and plow through it and get to the other end and accept that, yeah, wow, yeah, we're kind of fucked. Well, gee willikers, who'd have thunk it? Well, that's where I'm at. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Whatever. Does it do any good? I don't know. I'm just here venting, bullshitting, complaining, I got what I wanted out of it. Hope you got something good. And if you want to see more, well, you know where I am. There'll be more. Have a good night.